So it's been about 3 weeks since my initial Omori video, and I want to say that you guys blew it out of the fucking water. I mean, this video alone solos like everything on my channel, and even solos most of my manhunts combined, but also the amount of positive feedback I got in the comments is crazy, and I can't thank you guys enough for that. But that feedback is also one of the reasons why I'm making this quote-unquote behind-the-scenes video. I saw a lot of comments complimenting the script writing and the voice work and the editing, and as a film student who has to make projects and present and show what my production process was like to a class of other film students, it's really made me appreciate the finer details that go into making pieces of media, because it's fun to see exactly why a director made certain choices with the editing or script writing, and also seeing how those actions affect the viewer's reception. And in this video, I want to show you guys exactly what my process was. Before I go into my editing and stuff, I want to go over my script and talk about why I decided to go through with the style I chose. When I was making this video, I had to think about what way I wanted to review and analyze Omori. At first, I thought I was going to make a significantly shorter video, essentially just the outro, but a little bit longer and with some more points thrown into it. But that just didn't sit right with me. So I decided to write about the entire game, because I also had to think about who was watching. I can make an Omori video for sure, but I have an audience that primarily doesn't know what Omori is. So going into a review, assuming the viewer knows everything that happens in Omori, wouldn't be the best thing to do, so I decided to write about the entire game and give context to events as they occur and have the viewer build a connection themselves. I'll talk about how I did that when I go over my editing though. All of my script writing was done off of footage I captured myself. At first I just wanted to use a playthrough of Omori off of YouTube, but because there's so many Easter eggs and secrets in Omori, I thought it would have been better for me to record my own gameplay and use that instead. I like that I did this because not only is it higher effort to get my own footage by playing the game again, it also acted as a refresher to the events that happened in the game, as the time between my first playthrough and the footage for my Omori video was about 8 months, and some stuff in the Sunny route I actually forgot about since it had been that long. I saw a lot of feedback about the humor I put into my script, and I did that because I figured a couple jokes here and there would at least hopefully keep people engaged, but also I thought they just felt funny to me at the time when I was writing it. Now, when it came to editing, there were a lot of things I could have done, but I want to talk about the two things I did, and those were the setup of the story and my lack of dialogue for cutscenes. Since my video would be viewed by people who hadn't seen Omori before, it was important to me to keep the same level of surprise that the game kept with its pacing and foreshadowing. An example would be the church scene, and at this point in the game, the viewers don't really know the truth of why Marie died, so it would be weird to come out and spoil the main twist of the plot right then and there. During this allowed me to think more about what the viewer knows at a certain point, and also helped me script write, as I could just go off of what's happening in game while still inserting my own opinions here and there about what's going on. Another thing I saw mentioned a lot with the feedback was my absence of dialogue during most of the cutscenes, and I'm going to talk about why I think that was a good choice. Originally, I did have plans to have dialogue over the cutscenes. If you look at my script, for example, let's take the 2 days left cutscene where Sunny gets quote-unquote consumed by Omori. Originally, I was going to talk about this, and I put, quote, "As we enter headspace for the night, we are greeted with another cutscene, one of Sunny disappearing as Omori takes over his mind, a symbolism of how Sunny slips into another persona and how he is able to do it so easily, but also that Omori has a mind of its own. Omori isn't Sunny. Omori is his own entity with his own actions, thoughts, and feelings. We see Omori's friends show up, but as we spawn in Neighbor's room, we look back to enter white space, but something is there and it locks us out." End quote. But as I was editing, I realized it just didn't fit right. Many of the cutscenes in Omori are best viewed without dialogue in my opinion, and one goal I had in mind was, how can I have the viewer build a connection with this game if they've never played it before? And my quickest answer was to leave out the dialogue. Not only did it fit so much better, but it also gives time for a viewer to digest the information they've been presented, and also allows the viewer to build their own meaning of what these cutscenes mean to them, which in turn makes them more involved as a viewer and builds their connection with a game they've never played before. It's something I'll honestly keep for the hikikomori route video, as it's one of my best decisions that I made in my opinion. One issue I did face was my voice lines. I know many of you in the comments praised my script writing and my voiceovers, but I really think I could have done a better job. There were times with the editing that a couple stutters got through, but also I feel as if the flow of my writing wasn't really the best. Sure, it might look good on paper, but actually trying to read it took quite some time for me. Regardless though, when it came to my editing, my main goal was to provide emphasis on important parts such as the phobias, something, or even important events in the game, as this would lead to higher interaction. Now, of course, with any video that gets praised, there will always be people to criticize it, which I don't necessarily view as a bad thing. Constructive criticism is needed to grow really in any environment, and having outside perspectives can open your eyes to ways to improving your job, your life, or your social setting, really just anything in life. The biggest critique I got on the Omori video was basically, quote unquote, "Why is this a review when others have done a review before? Your video is the same as others." Specifically with this comment someone left, which I wanted to kind of break down because I do think that this is a good comment. I appreciate the fact that this person says that this isn't just a personal attack, and they even reached out to me over Discord about it, so massive respect to this guy, no hate at all. I just want to talk about it here where I'm able to go more in depth with my statement. Omori is a very open-ended game, and because of that it can lead to a lot of ambiguity, especially because Omori uses a lot of symbolisms and allegories that sometimes are hard to put together even after doing a playthrough of the game. One that I actually experienced myself was the Throne of Red Hands. It wasn't until after my first playthrough and browsing Reddit pages of why the throne exists in the first place, and once when I did that, I figured out that it's supposed to be a symbolism for Sunny viewing his hands as bloodstained. It's also important to mention that while yes, most Omori reviews end with the Sunny route, some Omori reviews will cover different segments of the game, and this is why I defend that mine is at least somewhat different, because out of all of the Omori reviews, not a single one I've seen has covered the Orange Oasis or the Daddy Longlegs segment, and others are different from mine because some will cover the alternate endings in their review of the game, which I didn't cover in mine, but I'll be covering them in my hikikomori route. This is why I believe many Omori reviews can be made. It's because Omori is a game where one definition doesn't fit the norm. To some, Omori is a villain, while others just view him as a misunderstood character. It's an open-ended discussion where I'm just simply adding my opinions to this conversation. Another thing commented on was the length of my video, specifically stating that it takes 2.5 hours just to provide a quote basic summary of the plot, and that if someone actually wanted to experience Omori, they would go and play the game themselves. And in my opinion, I do agree with this. It's why I put this spoiler disclaimer at the start of my video, because I know that someone might be in a playthrough, and thus they should play the game if they don't want to be spoiled. That's kind of self-explanatory. But to critique the length of mine is to critique the length of almost every other Omori synopsis. This person states that the best part was my 6-minute summary at the end of my video, and to be honest, when you see a short Omori review, that's basically what it is. Someone didn't cover the whole game and instead just chose to hit on points of why they enjoyed it. And when it comes to reviewing Omori, it's either you review the whole game or you just do a brief 10-minute synopsis. There isn't a real in-between you can hit unless you want to leave out half of the game's details. I wouldn't say this video was, quote, unoriginal either, as they stated. As I stated earlier, there are some things stated in my Omori video that I don't see mentioned in other Omori reviews. And the idea of doing a review in of itself isn't really unoriginal to me because it's a generalized term. It's like saying baking a cake is unoriginal because someone baked one before you. It's also important to mention that I'm making a Omori review on a channel that's never done anything close to this type of video before. I was a Minecraft YouTuber before this, and I knew that when I made this video, I would have people watching who have never seen Omori. And while yes, they could go watch a playthrough, or they could play the game for themselves, would they rather watch a 2-hour video or watch a 20-hour gameplay, or do the 20 hours of gameplay themselves and spend the money? So as I was script writing, I had to think about it from the perspective of a new viewer while also sprinkling in more direct foreshadowing, which once again, if you go watch any other long-form Omori review, they too will do the same thing. As I wrap this part up, once again, no hate to this guy at all. I respect the fact that instead of just writing a bunch of shit talk, he actually put effort into writing an entire essay for why he doesn't like my video. And I think that's okay. Once again, I felt it was better to just kind of break it down here instead of a comment section, because once again, this is a video where I detailed my productions and criticisms after all. Since uploading this video, I've gotten a ton of hype and support for my next project, that being my hikikomori analysis, and like I said in my community post, it most likely won't be out for a little bit. I'm estimating sometime around late May that it comes out, just because right now I'm very busy with school and it ends pretty much in a month and a half from now. So from where I'm a senior, I have lots of projects to work on, and I also have graduation prep to worry about. But once again, thank you all for the support on it. Going into it, I didn't think it would do good at all, but not only did it completely smash all of my previous channel records, but it's also nearly allowing me to get monetized, which is wild to me, because ever since starting this channel, that was one of the biggest goals that I've had in mind at this point. And seeing it within grasp really motivates me to make my hikikomori analysis as great as I possibly can. With all that being said though, I hope you all enjoyed this look into my review, and I hope you all have a good rest of your day.